Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregations in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and all of our folks online. We're delighted that you're here this morning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. This morning begins our series on celebrating the different generations that make up this beloved community. And we start this morning with our elders. And so many of them are going to come forward and participate in the service, and I hope that you will enjoy this special celebration of our elders this morning.
We appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements. You'll find announcements in our order of service or on the slides for those of you at home. If you require accommodations during our service this morning, our ushers are available to assist. Please fill out your connection card and notice the opportunities at the bottom. Folks online, your connection card is in the link in the description and also in the chat. We appreciate everyone filling out the connection card. Thank you for all who volunteered or brought goodies for Election Day. Our polling place is one of the many ministries in this community. During the month of November, we will be honoring and collecting leaves of gratitude for all our volunteers, not our staff members, who help the church function. Please write someone's name on your leaf and why you are grateful for their contributions to our community. If you need ideas, there are some suggestions in the insert, a lovely list of names. Folks online, please write yours in the chat and someone at the church will write your leaf for you. We will display these throughout November and then distribute them to the honorees. If you need a pen, please raise your hand and the ushers will get one to you. You may place your leaves in the offering plate or as you leave today. Thank you for your help in honoring our shared ministry in this time together. On the other side of the insert, you'll see that we are transitioning our food pantry to a dry goods pantry. By request of the community, and also because we don't have enough traffic through it at this time and we don't want to waste food, please bring your dry goods to the church and help us stock our pantry. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we invite you to the Interfaith Community Service at noon at Southside Baptist Church. Reverend Julie is preaching at this interfaith service, so we hope you'll join us in person or online. We also have a special announcement regarding our playground.
Good morning, everyone. Some of you may or may not have noticed on your way in some changes on our playground. The exciting news is it's finished. Yes, yay, finished, woo. So it is today we're gonna take an opportunity for the young folks to go out and check it out and give it a test drive. There's a few little more tweaks that we need to do, but for the most part, it's all done. And I really am grateful to all of the folks who came out and did a crazy amount of labor yesterday, moving mulch and topsoil and railroad ties and really working their tookuses off. So, and thanks to them, we have a fun playground to play on today, guys. Yay! I was waiting for a response from the children. So, awesome. Thanks so much.
The prelude prepares us for worship.
Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of the chalice. In this small flame dwell the beacon light of lanterns guiding travelers home, the warmth of hearth fires tended through the generations, and the transforming energy of furnaces and the power and the life of the sun. May these blessings, warmth and light and life-giving energy, be kindled in each of us. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcoming, please take a moment to greet your neighbors and anyone you don't recognize.
Or it dulls the metal. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna knock it over. Maybe you should do it.
Here,
Just,
I'll bring it. Let's go back there. I'll give you credit.
you want me to say please be seated for the...
Give them a chance to quiet down.
Please be seated for the reading. Come, let us enter this space of hope and community. Come, let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion, and compassion. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space, present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space, mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and worship with us.
Our first hymn this morning is number 38, Morning Has Broken, which was requested by Margie McDermott. Please stand if you are willing and able.
Good morning. My name is Kate Staub, and I am a member of the board of this church. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of this church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time here with us today, you can simply pass the plate when it comes around. You are our guest, and we're just glad that you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized people, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all people. Our Share the Plate recipient today is for the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, also called the UUSC, which advocates for human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilize to challenge oppressive policies. Their work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. We appreciate your donations this morning, either by placing them in the plate when it comes around, mailing your donation to the church, or using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Our Zelle account is office@uucbham.org. Please designate whether your offering is for the church or for the UUSC. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
It's always a joy to have folks sign our membership book during the offertory. And I want to welcome a couple folks who have signed it on previous weeks. But this morning, let you introduce who signed this morning and let you introduce how connected she very much already is to the church.
Hi, my name is Ginger Gullidge. I go by Jen. I'm the proud mom of this one and this one and Kit and grandmother to Aiden and Caven. And I've been kind of flitting around here for several years now, watching and listening and learning. And I just have to say my heart has been opened in so many new ways. I've been a Christian my whole life, very dedicated to church, and when I first started coming here, I was like, And I mean, just being honest, and you guys have shown me so much love, and the community so much love, and I've sat back and I've watched it. I've watched it, and I've watched my girls grow, and Kit grow, and my grandkids grow, and I don't want to be a part of any other community but this one. The acceptance and the love here is beyond any church I have ever attended, and I've been through a lot of them. And I just want to be with you guys, and I'm fully in. So thank you.
I'd also like to introduce two folks who joined us in previous weeks and let them introduce themselves to you so you know who they are.
Hello, I'm Adrian. I started coming to the church a few years ago, and then life got in the way, so I stopped, and I came back. Actually, I started on YouTube. I thought I would actually never come to church because I had my dog on my lap and my coffee on the side, and I thought that was it. But I guess from seeing everybody on YouTube, I just wanted to come and meet you all. So I'm born in a certain religion, and I didn't feel comfortable in it, and I actually didn't feel comfortable in any church until I came here, because this just matches my values just about 100%. So, and so here I am. Thank you.
Hello. Oh gosh. I wasn't expecting to speak today. My name is Elizabeth Kniff. I started coming here because I live in those houses right over there, and I was like, hey, maybe I could try this out. And I love it, and they're such kind, nice people, and it really, really fills my heart. So I'm happy to be here.
So I ask the three of you, will you support this church in all the ways that you are able to? Congregation, will you welcome our three new members and help them to integrate into the life of our community? Yes. Fabulous. Let's give them a round of applause. Welcome all. Now is that time in our community when we share what we carry with us on this day, whether joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please put all of your joys and sorrows in the chat, and I look forward to reading them later. For those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Today we celebrate a finished playground after a year and a half of work. Would all of those who participated in our playground at any point getting it ready, please stand so we can praise you. There we go, there we go. Joshua. Thank you, thank you. We will celebrate you more, but we are just so excited of all the work that happened, especially yesterday. We also celebrate today with all of our veterans. If you have served our country in some way and are a veteran, would you please stand or raise your hand so we can celebrate you? Woo! Totally counts. Totally counts, Terry. Totally counts. Today we lift up a few folks as well. We lift up Jim and Patty Steelman over the death of Jim's father. So I invite you to keep them in your hearts and minds. We also lift up Michelle Shields for the loss of her mother, who died in England, and so Michelle had a journey ahead of her. And then we continue to lift up Kathy Taylor's daughter, Jennifer. If you have updates in the congregation that you would like to share, please let me know. But please keep all of these folks in your hearts and minds this week. Please join me in the spirit of meditation, followed by a moment of silence. Today's meditation was written by Laura Bogle. We gather here to remember this is our home, but not just ours. This land we live on, this water we drink, this air we breathe, these old mountains that hold us steady to our ground, these forests that give us their healing green, these flowers that give us their beauty and fragrance, these fields that give us our daily bread, these stars that show us our place. The wilderness and the tame backyards, all of it our home. We remember the ancestors who have lived on this land and who have shaped it. The Muskogee Creek, the settlers, the mountaineers, the farmers, the hunters, the immigrants, the artists, the families, the explorers, the business people, the engineers, the scientists, the teachers, the workers, and the leaders. We inherit their choices. We honor the animals and creatures that have made their home in this land, the ones here now, and the ones that used to be here. We envision the future generations who will live on this land and let their voices fill our hearts. We gather here to remember this is our home, but not just ours. Let us take a moment of silence together. Amen and blessed be.
Am I on now? Good morning, all. I would like to invite our elders who are speaking today to come forward, please. I'm just gonna They're a special part of our time for all ages today, so. Take a seat by. Oh. Jeannie, yeah. Wynn, are you part of our fabulous crew this morning? And Joyce. Perfect. First of all, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us today. And now that our elders are up front, I'd love to invite the children and youth to come up front and take a seat, please. The children are so calm this morning. This is unusual. I guess I probably should not have just jinxed myself right now. I'm going to regret that decision. Come over this way, y'all. Come on this way. We're not shy. SEO, I know you're not shy. Come on up, come on up. So, one of the really, really cool parts, you guys, about being involved in our congregation is being able to know folks who are older than us and get to be friends with these people and find out things about our new friends. So we thought that this morning we would take this really great opportunity for our you-all youth to talk to our older youth. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then while they're introducing themselves, why don't you guys think of some questions you might have to ask, okay? Cool. So, who would like to go first with a little introduction?
What is the question?
Just introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Jean Weaver, and I have the distinction, if that's what it is, of being our oldest chronological member.
Ooh,
Yes.
oldest chronological member. We're even using big words this morning. Do you want to share your chronological age, Jean? Or do you want to keep that a secret?
Pardon?
How old are you?
Oh, I am 95.
Oh my goodness, 95. So exciting. Would you like to go next, Joyce?
I sure would. My name is Joyce Lanning, and I've been a member 4 years in December. And I'm not sure about labels, about how to identify myself, but perhaps what I would call non-theist. That means I don't think there's a protective hand out there to hold. But I do honor the mystery of what's within me that somehow connects me with everything else.
Very interesting. Non-theist. That's another really good word to learn this morning. We're learning all sorts of great words. Wynn, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Wynn. Oh, sorry. I belong to Technophobics Anonymous.
Hold on just one second, Jean. Or not Jean, Wynn. Ready, Forrest? I'm going to hand you this one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, everybody. I'll tell you a little joke. The woman is walking into a room and she gets caught in a folding chair. And up above the door it says Technophobics Anonymous, and the leader comes in and says, "How many times have I told you not to start group without me?" What? Oh, my name is Wynn, and I've been a member for 4 years, and it's the only church I've ever belonged to as an adult. So it's quite a discovery for me, and I'm thrilled that we have hired a full-time youth director, because the world we're leaving really needs much more support for our young people.
Well, thank you, Wynn. I didn't even have to pay for that. So, now that we know our new friends' names, does anyone have a good question to ask? That makes me nervous. I'm going to go Jet first, and then we'll go to you, Etsy, okay? Jet, what's your question?
What's your favorite color?
Jet would like to know what your favorite color is. Does anyone have a favorite color they want to share?
Your favorite color? What is my favorite color? Blue.
Blue.
Green, because it exemplifies the green world we're living in.
And teal, between the blue and the green.
Perfect. Ezio, what was your question? It is exciting that the playground is done. Absolutely. Do you have a question for our friends? So this sounds like a story a little bit. Is this a story or a question?
I can't hear it.
A question. Okay. About camping? Do you want to ask our friends about going camping? You're doing it different. Can we talk about your question in just a minute? Maybe downstairs? Okay, cool. Thank you. Royal. Royal would like to know why Joyce has a stuffed rabbit.
Okay, somebody told me that you might ask about our favorite toy when we were little. This is Cuddles. Pronouns are he, him, his. He doesn't mind wearing pink or blue or any color whatsoever. He was white and his paws were pink. And he had fur everywhere, but now he's missing fur. But I'll tell you what, when I found out that I could invite Cuddles to this today, I went up and found him. And I'd forgotten how much I loved him. And he was loved by our daughter and her daughters. And but you know, you can be loved a lot and look scruffy, but still be loved. Yeah.
I love that story. Do any of you have a favorite toy like Cuddles? I have one too. Stark, did you have a question?
How much was a mansion in the 60s?
Stark would like to know how much a mansion was in the 60s. Do any of you know real estate pricing from the 1960s? I feel like that it was a lot. Okay, Aiden, do you have a question? I'll come back to you, Jet. Oh, Aiden would like to know if you have a favorite musician.
Joan Baez.
Joan Baez. Apparently popular with some of
Helen Reddy.
Oh, now they're a good one. Have you guys heard of either of those? No. You know what?
They're old people.
We can solve that problem. The internet has all sorts of resources. We'll play some Joan Baez and Helen Reddy. And Jet, did you have another question?
What's your favorite animal?
Jet would like to know what your favorite animal is.
Favorite animal?
My favorite animal is a dog.
I like dogs.
Cat.
Cat.
Mine is my sweet little old lady dog, Carmen, who I took on a road trip to Colorado to see my old friends. And she was very, very faithful and kept me company, so I still love her dearly.
I love that story. Do you guys mind if I ask a question? Okay. Okay, well, I'll ask this one question and then we can go downstairs. How's that sound?
Oh, wait, but I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Well, okay, do we want to play on the playground today?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to ask a question or then we can do both. I'm just trying to get us there. You want to do both? Okay, okay. Stark, Newton, what is your question?
What is there, I'm trying to say it.
Okay, go ahead, you're fine.
Is there anything, like really scary you've ever done?
Is there anything very scary that you have done? Or has happened during? Oh, wait, we're going to answer that
Anything very
question.
scary that you have or haven't done?
That might be the secret to being 95, Jean.
What is it?
What about you, Joyce or Wynn? Has anything scary happened that you remember?
Well, I did a Native American vision quest, and you're out all alone, and you're fasting, and it was a little scary, but it was a learning experience.
It was a learning experience. We'll have to look at Vision Quest. That's kind of a cool idea. Not that we're going to do one today. All right, Jet, what is your question?
I forgot.
Well, you know what? I've got one. Oh, you remembered? Okay, go ahead. Oh, goodness. Jed would like to know what the not smartest thing you've done is.
What?
I'm saying it now.
Smartest thing.
Like,
We don't remember.
another advantage of age. Well, you know, okay, I'll ask my one question, and then we can get ready to head downstairs. They said they don't remember.
She don't remember.
They don't remember.
Forget it.
So, what was school like? What was your favorite thing about school when you were growing up?
Favorite thing about school? Basketball.
Basketball.
I liked school very much. My favorite subject was history.
History. Does anyone here like history?
Do you like history?
Wynn says that Wynn liked basketball. I know we have some basketball players. Does anyone like basketball? Very cool. Joyce, what was your favorite part of school?
In my second grade, they had a play store, and it had play money. And we got to go in there and pretend to count dimes and stuff and get stuff. I thought it was really cool. That was a good teacher.
I like that too. So, do we want to thank our new friends about sharing their stories with us? Thank you. And then do we want to sing our song once before we go downstairs? Well, we're gonna, so we have to sing it once. The grown-ups like it. Chip asked me to tell you. So we're gonna sing it once all together, and then we'll go downstairs, and the grown-ups will sing it while we go downstairs. Cool? Thank you.
The battery is wrong in one of the things, I think. Yeah. I think they go the other way. No, I think the batteries are fine. I think that one went the other way, doesn't it?
No, they're in the right way. It's gonna bring you new ones.
That was fun. Thank you. My reading today is called Call from the Past, Present, and Future. It's written by Tanya Marquez. From the past, from the heights of the Andes, the jungle, and the desert, from the depth of the sea, from a time that was, from a time that stretches beyond our memory, we are called. Our histories stretch back to the first people, the first steps, the collision of worlds, to abrupt beginnings, all wanderers of this land. We have inherited the unfinished labor of our ancestors, of those that came before us. We are called to continue the work. From the present, the voices of our people call us now. The world harbors their joys and their sorrows. We hear the cries of our people demanding justice. In that call, we recognize the voices of those who wander in the desert, the border crossers, the navigators, the justice seekers, the dreamers, and the hopeful. We weave our story to the story of our ancestors, right here, right now. We are in the midst of responding to the call that comes from all the corners of the land, from the south, the north, the east, and the west. We are called to sustain the work. From the future, the voices of those who will be call us, a reminder of who we need to be. In the weaving of our story to the web of life, we must remember that we must not cut the strings, for there are others coming after us, others with tender hearts and strong wills, with creative determination, those who will live in the house of tomorrow. Their vision escapes us, yet we are called to prepare the road, to leave behind possibility and foundations upon which they will build a tomorrow. We are called to create new opportunities.
Beginning of the service, this is the start of a 5-week series on celebrating all of the different ages that are part of our church. I have the distinct pleasure of getting to talk to all of the ages of the church, but not everybody does. And so we are starting with that sharing this morning. So I am delighted that Jean and Joyce and Wynn are up here with me this morning to share some of their wisdom with us. So your first question this morning is, what wisdom did you learn from those who were older than you that you feel is important to pass on?
Richard Attenborough from England is my hero. Can you hear?
Yeah. It's not this, it's that.
Can you hear me now? Okay, Richard Attenborough, he's very old, but he has been nurturing younger people to develop the skills that are helping us visualize what's going on in the clouds as nutrients rise from Arabia and go all the way to the Amazon and feed that incredible jungle we have there. He's trained young people to go under the oceans, and he has documented the balance of nature, how one creature matures just when certain vegetables are ready. It's just astounding, and it's the most spiritual experience that I've had in terms of listening to someone about nature.
Yes. From my father, I learned to be honest, to question, and I also learned to appreciate politics from him. He was very interested. He was a local politician, so I learned that. From my mother, I learned practical skills, and that was very important. And from my teachers, I learned to read, to write, and then I learned about history and science. So my teachers and my professors later were a big part of my life. And then I learned from my friends to be generous, to love each other, and to help each other. And so we live in a world that is multi-dependent, and we couldn't make it ourselves alone. So for my family, my parents, my teachers, and then my friends, everyone, I have learned.
Just go on to Tom.
What wisdom have you all learned from those younger than you? Joyce?
Yes. Here's one. Wishful optimistic hoping doesn't cut it. Hope has to be the muscular kind that leads to action. Does that make sense to some of y'all younger people?
Anyone else want to share what you've learned from the younger generations?
Absolutely. I want you all to know that Reverend Julie made the GBM magazine out of all the other ministers who are on the board there. And she wrote an incredible passage, which I would be glad to make copies of if anybody wants it. But the person that really makes me feel hopeful for the young is this man, Nick Offerman. He was on Parks and Recreations. Whether you like that program or not, he's very, very funny. But he's one of those humorous people who uses self-deprecating humor to kind of play down his high intelligence. Fortunately, he goes around the country talking to college students in a way that I think a lot of us probably could not communicate with, because he's so funny that people want to listen to him and they don't just fog out in a time when listening is very difficult. You don't even have to get the book from the library. You can download it on the library app and listen to him, because it's more fun to listen to him than read it. So anyway, those are my two heroes.
I'm honored, Joyce. Jean.
From younger people, my children and the children at church, the younger people like Trey and Heather and others, I've learned to appreciate the environment, and I have learned to appreciate youth, the next generation that is going to follow us, and generosity and energy. Yes, the young people, I appreciate their energy and their service, the things that they do for their families, for the community, for the church, for other organizations. So I appreciate all young people. What would we do without the young people? They're our next generation, and I think we're in very good hands.
Yay. Woo! Yay.
What moment or moments in your life led you to be Unitarian Universalist or a member of this church?
Okay, I started out baptized in the Methodist church with a grandfather who was a minister, and but the Onward Christian Soldier song, I could not make sense out of what it really said. And so I decided that maybe I would move on to the woods. And then we had a child to christen, and somebody said, well, try the Episcopalians. You don't have to check your brain at the door. And it turned out, actually, that was a wonderful place to be. And then I did Native American Vision Quest and one with Jungian analyst, and I've been a meditator since the 70s, and now more so than ever, but I'm not a Buddhist. But I came to support a friend who was talking when you weren't here about climate change and how to solve it. And after I tear-stained the hymnal, I said, I think I'll come back. And I did, and I haven't left. Yay. Yay. You know that.
Wynn or Jean? Go ahead, Jean.
Okay. Why I became a Unitarian, okay. I have an unusual background, I think, unique even. I was married for 30 years to a Church of Christ minister, and I was a preacher's wife, and I was also at that time a mother of 6 children. And I was also at that time, a little later, a college teacher. I taught history at Jefferson State for 30 years. So I had a very busy life, a lot of things going on in my life. But I listened to sermons, and I taught Bible classes. I must have listened to hundreds of sermons. And so my father had taught me to be intellectually honest. And so as time went on, I noticed inconsistencies that everything in the Bible just didn't make sense. And then as I studied history, I saw that the Hebrews, the Jewish people, were just one of a number of Near Eastern peoples who had a 10 Commandments and other similar teaching in the area of Mesopotamia. And so I saw, well, maybe, maybe they are not a unique people. And then I had a very interesting course. I was taking a course, Greek and Roman history and literature. And one of our assignments was to read Plato's dialogue, which was Phaedo. In that I found that Paul, who wrote much of the New Testament, that he had borrowed phrases, ideas from the Greek ideas from Plato. So it all hit me gradually. I kept these things in my heart for a long time, and I wrote them down. And then finally the time came when I had to come out of it. And so I told my husband, and he said, well, you're a hypocrite. You should go tell the elders. Well, I went and told the elders, and they said, well, we're sorry, but we have to withdraw from you because of my unbelief. So at a church ceremony where I was, just such as this, they withdrew from me, and I still have the statement. So I'm an outcast, with such a one know not to eat. They said. So then, at the same time, I was studying about the Old Testament. I was studying in American history, about New England. And I followed the development of the Congregational Church, and each generation became more liberal than the other. They threw off Calvinism, and so they finally arrived at Unitarianism, and so did I.
You are an outcast no longer, from one heretic to another.
Thank you. I've loved every minute of it. Okay.
Wynn, how did you come to Unitarian Universalism?
Well, when I was in the Peace Corps, our doctor was a unit. When I was in the Peace Corps, our doctor, I didn't know what I was. I wasn't a Christian. I knew that. But he told me about Unitarianism, but it took me decades to get here because my husband was a skeptical inquirer type person. But the spirituality that I feel here really is connected with nature and with future generations. That's why one of my heroes, a spiritual person, I think, is Jacques Cousteau, because he tried to get people to sign all over the world to put into their constitutions a commitment to the next 7 generations. And so that's the kind of spirituality I admire, is the kind where we really, really take care of and support our children in a really precarious world. It really scares me. So this church does that.
For our last question, for what do you want to be remembered?
Now, repeat that, please, Reverend.
What would you like to be remembered? How would you like to be remembered?
For what would I like to be remembered? Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell them I said yes to life. And tell them I said yes to truth. Okay.
Amen.
To truth and to life.
Oh, my goodness.
Joyce?
Well, I guess I would really like to be remembered for the relationships that I've had. And I would like to be remembered for breaking the cycle of dysfunctional parenting and the hole in the soul that can come from that, which requires mending more than once, and for the wonderful relationships that I have with my husband, our daughter, her children, a wide variety of wonderful friends. And I think that for me, spirituality is that connection. When we bridge the gap between people, we're walking around in these bags of skin. They say we're all one, but can you really feel it? Sometimes you can. So that's what I'd like to be remembered for, the times when I connected.
That's a good one.
When?
Well, I finally finished a project which is near and dear to my heart. The Flora Johnson Nature Park has kept me sane for the last 4 years, and it's an incredible project exemplifying democracy and diversity. Flora Johnson insisted that the person who followed her be a black person. She was a very, very astounding woman, and we also got a black woman to make the sidewalk that goes up the side of the park. But just, so actually I wrote it up, and I if anybody wants a history, I'll give one to Pam Powell, because anyway, it was what's the word when you appreciate something? I felt very honored to be able to write it up. And it's a credit to Birmingham and to the South, which gets denigrated so much. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. I've been there. It's great.
In just a minute, I'm going to ask for your appreciation for our elders, but I also want to offer the invitation to you all for the next upcoming sessions. Next week, we're going to focus on the boomers, which is loosely those between 60 and 80. The week after that, our Gen Xers, which will loosely be between our 40 and 60-year-olds. And then we will have our young adult cohort come forward the week after that, and we'll wrap it all up with our Christmas pageant on December 11th for our children and youth. So if you would like to be a part of that, if you're one of those age groups, we're going to do it a little differently every week, but I would really appreciate to have lots of different voices. So please consider this your invitation. Please give your boisterous round of applause and appreciation for our dear elders. Thank you.
I've got this for you. Okay, I think I have to turn off the lights. I'm so wired up.
Please rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn, Just As Long As I Have Breath, number 6, requested by Gerda Carmichael.
Still This is called the seasons of life. We are grateful to mark time with seasons, to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, or to gather as family to remember our loved ones. In all these seasons, may we give thanks for the breath of life, ever mindful of the tragic nature of existence. May we live fully in each moment, from summer to fall, winter to spring. We gather in mystery, in the bonds of the loved community. Oh. May we radiate love both within and beyond these walls this day and all the days to come, caring for those we love, and for those we have yet to meet.
No matter how old you are, your wisdom is welcome here. Please join us in our beloved community as we share our wisdom with one another. Go in peace.